This is a contract we have signed.
I told you, I am not signing this. Get out!
You've signed, so I will erase your debt.
The contract slapped against the glass table as he stood up so abruptly that the chair screeched across the marble floor. "Sign it," he said coldly. "Have my child, and I'll clear your debt." Maya's hands trembled as she stared at the paper, her breath shallow, her heart pounding so loudly she was sure he could hear it. Around her, the penthouse office was silent. No assistants. No lawyers. Just the hum of the city below and the weight of his words crushing her chest. "You can't be serious," she whispered. Ethan Blackwood didn't blink. "I am very serious." Before the story continues, if you enjoy emotional billionaire romance stories filled with kindness, sacrifice, and unexpected love, make sure you like this video and subscribe now. You don't want to miss what happens next. Maya swallowed hard. "You're asking me to sell my body." "No," Ethan replied sharply. "I'm offering you a solution." She laughed, but it came out broken. "A solution that turns me into a womb for hire." His jaw tightened. "Choose your words carefully." "Or what?" she snapped, her fear finally boiling into anger. "You'll throw me out and let the bank take my mother's house?" That landed. For the first time since she'd walked into his office, Ethan's eyes flickered. Maya saw it and hated that she noticed. 3 hours ago, she had been on her knees in a hospital corridor, clutching a folder of unpaid bills while a nurse gently told her they could no longer delay the surgery. Her mother would die without it. And now she was here, standing in front of the most powerful man in the city, being asked to carry his child like it was a business transaction. "I don't have time for morality speeches," Ethan said, turning away and staring out at the skyline. "My family needs an heir. You need money. This is efficient." "Efficient," Maya repeated bitterly. She looked down at the contract again. Black ink. Clean lines. Cold language. No intimacy. No relationship. Artificial insemination. Full medical care. Absolute confidentiality. And at the bottom, a number so large it made her dizzy. Enough to clear the hospital bills. Enough to pay off the loans. Enough to save the house. Enough to change everything. "You'll disappear after the birth," Ethan continued. "You'll never see the child again. You'll be compensated generously." "And if I say no?" she asked. He turned slowly, his gaze unreadable. "Then I wish you the best of luck." Silence stretched between them. Maya thought of her mother's weak smile that morning, of the way her hands shook when she tried to hide the pain, of the house that had already been marked for foreclosure. She picked up the pen. Ethan watched closely as her fingers hovered above the signature line. "This isn't kindness," she said quietly. "This is desperation." "Call it whatever helps you sleep," he replied. Her hand shook as she signed. The moment the pen lifted from the paper, something inside Ethan shifted. He ignored it. The first injection happened a week later. Maya lay on the pristine hospital bed, staring at the white ceiling, her hands clenched into fists. "This won't hurt much," the doctor said gently. She nodded, saying nothing. Ethan stood near the door, arms crossed, watching like he was overseeing a merger. "Do you want to step out?" the doctor asked him. "No," Ethan replied immediately. Maya turned her head sharply. "Why?" His eyes met hers. "Because I want to know exactly what this costs." She looked away. The procedure was quick, clean, clinical. No romance. No warmth. When it was done, Maya sat up slowly, pulling the blanket tighter around herself. "You can go," she said. Ethan hesitated. "The car will take you home." "I'll walk." "It's raining." "I don't care." For a moment, he looked like he might argue. Then he stepped aside. Maya passed him without another word. For days, nothing happened. Then weeks. Then one morning, her phone rang. "You're pregnant," the doctor said. Maya sank onto the edge of her bed, tears flooding her eyes. "I am." "Yes." "Everything looks healthy." She hung up and pressed her palm against her stomach. A life. Her life. And his. Ethan received the news in the middle of a board meeting. "Congratulations," the doctor said. Ethan said nothing. He ended the call and stared at the table, unaware that every executive in the room was watching him. "You're dismissed," he said suddenly. They left without question. Alone, Ethan leaned back in his chair and exhaled. It had worked. So why did his chest feel tight? The first time he saw her again was unplanned. Maya was in the lobby of his building, arguing with security. "I have an appointment," she said firmly. "There's no record. I'm carrying Mr. Blackwood's child." The room froze. Ethan stepped out of the elevator at that exact moment. Their eyes met. The guard went pale. Ethan held up a hand. "She's with me." Inside the elevator, silence screamed. "You didn't tell me you'd come," Ethan said. "I didn't plan to," she replied. "But I was dizzy and my doctor insisted I see you." "I'm not a doctor." "You're responsible." That stung. He said nothing until they reached his office. "You'll have full access to medical care," he said stiffly. "Anything you need." "I don't need your money," she snapped. "I need you to stop treating me like a machine." He turned to her. "This was an agreement." "And I'm not breaking it," she said, tears burning her eyes. "But I'm still human." Something cracked. Ethan looked away first. As the months passed, things began to change. Against his better judgment, Ethan started attending appointments. He told himself it was for control, for oversight. But he found himself asking questions. "Are you eating properly? Did you sleep? Do you feel pain?" Maya answered cautiously at first, then more freely. One evening, during a storm, she slipped on the stairs outside her apartment. Ethan arrived before the ambulance. He didn't remember driving. He only remembered seeing her on the ground, pale and shaking. "Talk to me," he demanded, kneeling beside her. "I'm fine," she whispered. "The baby?" "Forget the baby," he snapped. "Are you okay?" She stared at him. For the first time, fear crossed his face. At the hospital, he refused to leave her side. When the doctor finally said everything was fine, Ethan sagged into the chair. Maya watched him quietly. "You were scared," she said. "I don't get scared," he replied. She smiled faintly. "You were." That night, something shifted permanently. Ethan began visiting her apartment. At first, it was awkward. Then, familiar. He brought groceries, fixed her broken heater, listened when she talked about her childhood. And one night, as she laughed softly at something he said, he realized the truth with terrifying clarity. He had crossed a line. He wasn't supposed to feel this. And when Maya finally stood in front of him, 8 months pregnant, her voice shaking as she said, "I don't think I can give the baby away," Ethan felt the full weight of his words crash back onto him. "Have my child, and I'll clear your debt." He had said it like it was nothing. Now it was everything. And he would regret it more than any deal he had ever made. If this story already has you hooked, don't forget to like and subscribe. The next part changes everything. Ethan stared at her as if she had just taken the air out of the room. "What do you mean? You can't give the baby away?" he asked slowly. Maya's hands rested protectively over her stomach. The baby kicked as if reacting to the tension. "I mean exactly what I said," she replied. "I thought I could do this. I told myself it was just 9 months. Just a contract. But this isn't a product, Ethan. This is a human being. My child. Our child," he corrected automatically. The moment the words left his mouth, both of them froze. Maya looked at him, eyes shining. "You've never said that before." Ethan felt exposed. "It doesn't change the agreement." "It changes everything," she said quietly. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration flashing across his face. "You knew the terms when you signed." "I also didn't know how it would feel," she shot back. "You didn't either." Silence filled the room. Outside, the rain battered against the windows, mirroring the storm inside Ethan's chest. "You're asking me to rewrite my future," he said finally. "No," Maya replied. "I'm asking you to see it." Ethan turned away. "This isn't about feelings." "Then why are you shaking?" she asked. He clenched his fists. "I built my life on control," he said. "I don't make emotional decisions. And yet, Maya said softly, you drove through traffic at midnight because I slipped on the stairs. That memory hit him like a punch. You stayed all night in the hospital, she continued. You held my hand when the monitor beeped too fast. That wasn't control, Ethan. That was care. He faced her again. You don't understand what you're asking. Then explain it to me, she pleaded. My family, he said tightly. They expect an heir raised under our name, our values. No complications. No scandals. And I'm a complication, she whispered. His silence answered her. Maya's face hardened, pain turning into resolve. Then we're done talking. She turned to leave. Where are you going? Ethan demanded. To protect my child, she said without looking back. With or without you. That night, Ethan didn't sleep. He sat in his dark penthouse, replaying every moment, every word. Have my child, and I'll clear your debt. He had said it like a king issuing a decree. Now it echoed like a curse. The next morning, his mother called. Ethan, Evelyn Blackwood said coolly. We need to talk. He knew that tone. They sat across from each other in the family estate later that day. So, she said, folding her hands. I hear the surrogate is attached. She has a name, Ethan replied. Maya. Evelyn raised an eyebrow. Attachment is irrelevant. The contract is clear. She doesn't want to give up the baby. Evelyn leaned back. Then we enforce the agreement. Ethan stiffened. No. No, she repeated sharply. Do you realize what's at stake? I do, he said. More than you think. You're letting sentiment cloud your judgment, she snapped. That woman was desperate. You offered her a way out. Now she wants more. That's not fair, Ethan said. Evelyn laughed coldly. Life isn't fair. He stood. I won't take the child from her by force. Her eyes narrowed. You forget who you are. No, he replied. I'm remembering. When Ethan returned to Maya's apartment that evening, the door was locked. He knocked. No answer. Panic crawled up his spine. Maya, he called. Please. Finally, the door opened. Her eyes were red. What do you want? To talk, he said. Really talk. She hesitated, then stepped aside. They sat across from each other in the small living room, the distance between them heavy. I won't fight you, Ethan said quietly. I won't take the baby from you. Her breath hitched. You won't. No, he said. But I need to understand what you want. I want my child, she said immediately. And I want honesty. He nodded. You'll have both. Tears slipped down her cheeks. You don't know how scared I am. I do, he replied. I'm terrified. She laughed weakly. That makes two of us. For the first time, he reached out, not to touch her stomach, but her hand. She didn't pull away. The weeks that followed were tense but tender. Ethan stood between his family and Maya like a shield. Threats came. Lawyers called. Ethan shut them all down. Then, one night, Maya went into labor early. Ethan was in the middle of a crucial meeting when his phone rang. Maya's in labor, the doctor said urgently. Ethan didn't say a word. He grabbed his coat and left. At the hospital, Maya was pale, gripping the rails of the bed. Ethan, she cried. He rushed to her side. I'm here. She squeezed his hand with surprising strength. Don't leave. I won't, he promised. Hours passed. Pain, fear, tears. At one point, Maya screamed, I can't do this. Yes, you can, Ethan said, his voice breaking. You're the strongest person I know. When the baby finally cried, Ethan felt something shatter inside him. A nurse placed the baby on Maya's chest. Ethan stared. So small, he whispered. Maya looked at him, exhausted but glowing. She's beautiful. She, he echoed. Maya smiled weakly. A girl. Ethan laughed through tears he didn't know he was shedding. My daughter, he said softly. The words felt right. But reality didn't wait. Evelyn arrived the next morning. She looked at the baby, then at Maya. This is unacceptable, she said. Maya stiffened. Ethan stepped forward. It's over, Mother. What? The contract, he said. I'm tearing it up. Evelyn's eyes flashed. You can't. I already did. Silence. You're choosing her, Evelyn said slowly. I'm choosing my family, Ethan replied. Evelyn scoffed. She will never belong. Maya stood up shakily, holding the baby. I never asked to belong. Ethan turned to her. But I'm asking you to stay. Her eyes filled with tears. As what? As the woman I love, he said. Not a contract. Not a deal. The room seemed to stop. Evelyn left without another word. Maya stared at Ethan, disbelief flooding her face. Do you mean that? Yes, he said. I fell in love with you. Somewhere between the fear and the kindness. And I regret every cruel word I ever said. She cried then, openly, freely. He held her and their daughter together. And for the first time, Ethan Blackwood understood what real wealth was. The hospital room was quiet after Evelyn left, but the silence felt heavier than before. Maya sat on the bed, their daughter asleep against her chest, her tiny fingers curled tightly as if afraid the world might take her away. Ethan stood beside them, watching every rise and fall of the baby's breath, terrified that if he blinked, everything might disappear. You really tore up the contract, Maya said softly. Yes, Ethan replied. Every copy. There's nothing tying you to me anymore. She looked up at him. Then why are you still here? He met her gaze, his voice low and honest. Because I don't want to leave. Maya studied his face carefully, as if searching for cracks for doubt. I've been treated like an option my entire life, Ethan. A burden. Something people tolerate when they have to. You were never that to me, he said quickly. She smiled sadly. You were ready to pay me to disappear. The words stung because they were true. I know, Ethan said. And that's why I'll regret my words for the rest of my life. Days passed. News broke quietly that Ethan Blackwood had withdrawn from several family-controlled trusts. The media speculated. The board panicked. His mother didn't call. Ethan didn't care. He moved into Maya's apartment without announcing it. No penthouse. No drivers. Just a man learning how to hold a baby without panicking. Her head needs support. Maya laughed gently as he froze, terrified. I know that, he said defensively. I've read 3 books. And still look like you're defusing a bomb. She's fragile, he murmured, staring down at his daughter. No, Maya corrected him softly. She's strong. Just like you. The first night, she cried endlessly. Ethan walked the floor until sunrise, refusing to hand her over. You can sleep, he told Maya. I've got her. You've got a meeting in the morning. I canceled it. You can't cancel everything. I can, he said firmly. For her. Maya watched him sway gently with the baby, humming off key, and something inside her finally relaxed. This wasn't a deal anymore. This was a family. But reality tested them quickly. A week later, Maya found a woman waiting outside the apartment. Elegant. Controlled. Dangerous. I'm Evelyn Blackwood, she said coolly. We need to talk. Maya's stomach tightened. About what? About what you're doing to my son. Maya folded her arms. I didn't force him to stay. Evelyn's eyes flicked to the baby inside the apartment. That child does not belong in our world. Maya's voice shook, but she didn't back down. She belongs with parents who love her. Evelyn smiled thinly. Love fades. Power lasts. Maya looked her straight in the eye. Not the kind of power that needs contracts to control people. Evelyn stiffened. Inside, Ethan listened to every word. When Evelyn finally turned to leave, Ethan stepped forward. She's staying, he said calmly. And so am I. Evelyn looked at her son for a long moment. Then you're no longer my heir. Ethan nodded. I know. She left. Maya stared at him, shocked. You didn't have to do that. Yes, he said. I did. Weeks turned into months. Ethan learned what money could never buy. Sleepless nights. Milk-stained shirts. Fear when the baby had a fever. Joy when she smiled for the first time. One night, as Maya rocked their daughter to sleep, she whispered, Do you ever wish you'd never made that offer? Ethan didn't hesitate. Every day. She looked at him, surprised. But he continued, If I hadn't, I would never have known you. Or her. Maya smiled softly. I hated you when you said it. I deserved that. But you changed, she said. You listened. You stayed. He took her hand. Because kindness changed me. The day Ethan proposed, there was no ring at first. They were sitting on the floor, their daughter crawling clumsily between them. I don't want a contract, he said suddenly. I want a life. Maya blinked. Is this? I love you, he said simply. And I want to spend every day making up for the man I was. Tears streamed down her face. Say that again. I love you. She laughed through her tears. Then yes. Later, when he finally slid the ring onto her finger, it wasn't about wealth or status. It was about choice. Years later, Ethan would stand on a stage, holding a microphone at a charity gala. I once believed money could solve anything, he said to the audience. I was wrong. It can't buy love. It can't buy kindness. And it certainly can't buy a child's heart. Maya watched from the crowd, their daughter on her lap. Ethan's eyes found them. I made an offer once, he continued. A cruel one. And I regretted it the moment love walked into my life and refused to leave. The room erupted in applause. But the only approval Ethan needed was in Maya's smile and his daughter's laughter. That night, as they lay in bed, Maya whispered, if you could go back, would you change it? Ethan kissed her forehead. I'd change the words, but not the journey. She closed her eyes, peaceful. Because the deal that started in desperation ended in love. And the billionaire who thought he could buy a child learned that the greatest gift in his life was never for sale. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more emotional billionaire romance stories filled with kindness, sacrifice, and unforgettable endings. Your support helps these stories reach more hearts, and the next one might be even more powerful. Thank you for watching.